running short of time. The library report's in order. I would entertain a motion to accept the library report.
Well, I heard 3.
Who made the motion?
We gotta get her going.
The motion is made by Scott to accept the library report, seconded by Plank. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Library report's accepted. County law enforcement report. I have briefed my copy. It's available to any of you. Keith, Ken, would either of you like to comment on anything while you're here?
Well, between Ken and I and Bill, we've talked a little bit about the city snow ordinance. And the problem we run into is the way ours reads now is when the snow is being removed. And it isn't a feasible thing that works out because there's not always an officer available to be here at that time. We would like, and I would like to see an ordinance where there's a snow ban between November 1st and April 1st.
Parking, a ban.
No parking on the streets.
Yeah.
Currently, Odebo's the only city in the county that has
That's what I was going to ask you.
this particular ordinance. Everybody else's is like from midnight to 6 in residential areas, no parking on the city streets. And in business districts, it's like from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Currently, what we're doing in like early as an example is, you know, when we're down here then after midnight, we can write parking warnings and put on cars that are in place. To date, we haven't towed any or written any citations in early, but you start getting that put out. I had talked to Bill a little bit. Apparently, the habitual violators are on South Main Street. And their philosophy is that, hey, it's cheaper to pay the $5 parking ticket than it is to move my car. In the state compendium of traffic violations, there is a section where we can issue be an $18 citation for parking during snow ordinance. What that would do, if we issued that on that, then that money would get sent to the clerk of court's office when they paid the fine, and then that money, then the percent of that then gets shipped back to the city because it's under the city ordinance. I did talk to Pat Reese this afternoon about towing. You know, that's always another option for the habitual violators to tow it. Pat and I had a very good conversation. He's not really that interested in doing that. He said, you know, he's got good customers and he doesn't really want to have to be put in that position. I understand that, and I told him that we have to be fair and consistent, and we can't tow 2 cars and let the third one sit because he's a good customer of yours. You know, then that's bad for business for us. He did say though that in a pinch, if we really needed him to do something, he'd be there to help us in whatever way he could. So that's kind of how we left that. But I had heard that, and I wanted to talk to him before I come down and spouted out what I thought he said. So, you know, I think it'd be easier for us to help you out if the ordinance was changed to the no parking on the city streets. You know, we can issue warnings, we can issue citations, and when it snows, if you want. You know, some cities kind of have a grace period during holidays. You know, if all of a sudden you get a bunch of families in over Christmas and Thanksgiving, and let's face it, there's not a lot of off-street parking at most places. You know, we got some wiggle room and some leeway, but you know, I don't know what else we can do. You know, these people obviously aren't afraid of citations or $5 parking tickets. They complain when Bill pushes the snow in front of their cars and behind their cars, but you know, that I don't know what you want to do. So.
I think that's the thing to do. We'll just block them in. They want to park on the street and they've been told not to.
Yeah.
We haven't, I don't know of a ticket that's been written for quite some time for somebody parking during snow removal.
I did last year.
How many? 3? How many cars do you have on the street when you move snow, Bill?
Well, this last time it was pretty bad, but like Ken said, I think a lot of it was Christmas. 28 of them were out there.
I don't think the ticket gets their attention. I think maybe a little discomfort's probably what they need.
The downside to that, though, is you still got to come back and remove it.
Or let them walk through it a while.
Let them walk through it for a while.
If we can get them out of the way, I think it makes for a cleaner street.
Maybe after the first or second time they might learn.
But you're thinking $5 tickets after the warning and then just kind of move up.
Well, what it is it's if we use this scheduled fine, it's $5 for the ticket, we get to charge a $5 surcharge, so that puts it up to $18, you know. A lot of places just ticket and tow, but again, where do you tow them to? Who do you get to tow? You know, I understand, Pat, we could always call Doug Rice out of Early to tow, or Denny's out of Lakeview to tow. You know, they'd come and do it, but
They'd want a place to
you know,
take.
I don't think that's necessarily the answer, but I think if we get somebody who's thumbing their nose or thumbing their thumb at you all the time, then hey, tow their dang car. You know, about the first time they got to pay a $75 tow bill and a parking ticket, maybe they won't park on the street next time. I don't know. I mean, it's we'll do whatever you want us to do, but
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't
know.
think that.
You'd think common courtesy they would be smart enough
It's the same people all the time.
to, yeah.
Yeah, it is, you know, and I'm sure it's frustrating for Bill and everybody else involved in it, but you know, we just, like I said, the way your ordinance reads, unless it's snowing or they're moving snow, it's not illegal to park on your city street, and we can't always get somebody down here when it's snowing to take care of it, so I guess it's whatever you like to do.
Well, I
You
hate
need
to
to
put Bill more on the spot, because if somebody gets towed, or if somebody gets a ticket or something, it's gonna be his fault because he singled them out, and then they'll be in here complaining to Joe, or to
He
Joan.
doesn't write the tickets.
Mhm. Well, they don't understand that. They think it's he that complained because they were in the way.
Had to put to your
It's
blade.
more of a problem.
I like it.
Take the
Get a little
side
paint transfer on the side of that blade. Bill.
out. Yeah.
I looked at the New York City snow removal after the blizzard.
my.
They just flat ran over cars.
Yeah,
at
they
the owner's
did.
expense.
They did.
Our trucks aren't that good.
Well,
I guess I'm looking from the council for some guidance on what you'd like us to do, you know.
Well, I for one like to see the ordinance with the snow ban between those time periods. I think it would be beneficial and helpful.
just a no parking, just no parking
From 12 to, like you said, from midnight to 6, and downtown from 2 to 6. And that gives them an
I would love
idea
to
when
see
they're
that.
going to be able to get at it and not have
Have
it.
no parking from November till April.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a little
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
That's the time frame, but it's also a time frame within that. It's 12 to
With
6.
the hours, okay.
Most of them are going to move them before they go to bed. They're not going to wait till midnight to go out and run and move them. So
Yeah.
So if the snow comes in the afternoon, can you still ticket them then?
No.
If it's-
No.
Because the way it is right now is when it's snowing,
right.
so you're gonna not have that anymore.
Didn't our ordinance before say exactly what you're talking? We had a snow ordinance that specified hours.
I think we do.
And we got rid of it.
I think that was since I've been on the council.
Mhm. We changed it because we didn't like that ordinance.
Yeah.
But this not only gives you an
Which I
annual
do
date,
for-
it gives you
I
an
can see both
hourly
ways.
time.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
that's,
we could get a foot of snow during the day, and it would be nice if they'd get them off the street too, but I don't know how you're ever gonna have both ways.
well, that's the downside, you know, we gotta know when you're moving snow. I mean, you want us to start writing tickets at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if people parked on your side streets when it's snowing?
See what you mean?
I mean, that's the downside to that is, you know, and we can't, when you're not doing snow operations, it's not a problem. But the way that ordinance reads now, at your scenario, then that would mean in theory at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we're getting 2 inches of snow, we're down here writing people tickets for parked on the street.
Yep.
Is there a set fee for the ticket? I mean, is there a,
18 bucks.
That's as high as it can get.
18
And it
bucks.
can't escalate?
Unless they decide to,
That kind of
ignore it.
hurt.
No.
18 bucks.
Unless they decide to ignore it, then it would go to court.
Yeah, I mean,
Then
but by
there'd be-
doing it this way, then you have some magistrate issue behind this. I mean, you actually have, either they're gonna pay the ticket, or they're gonna issue a warrant for their arrest for not paying the ticket. You know, and they're gonna have to come in and tell the judge why they chose not to pay an $18 parking.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you give warnings before you give a citation?
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
you know, I'm not by no means suggesting we go out and start writing everybody a parking
Okay,
ticket.
okay.
But I think, you know, we can do whatever you want. If it's snowing and they're parked there, let's write them a dang ticket. If it's not snowing, write them a warning. I mean,
It's January, of course, and right now we're probably not, we're gonna have to discuss that ordinance. And we probably won't get into that tonight, but I think we should probably start dropping some warnings. And then the same perpetrator the next time a ticket.
well, it's got to be snowing when we drop the warning by your ordinance.
I understand that.
So, you know,
But, I mean, it's, at least we're doing something
I agree.
during this winter season.
I agree.
How many, Bill, do we have that are just habitual offenders?
2 really stick out in my head, but there's probably about 10 cars involved in that.
10, okay.
Don't know about where they
500 block of South Main?
1,
Some one over on Park.
yeah, there's a couple over on Park
There's one on Maple too, isn't there, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just
Yeah.
about takes the 10.
But,
About 6 there,
Mhm.
usually.
I think Newman has about 3, so it's not good. On a light day.
Yeah.
Mayor, your citizen that you and I talked about a couple weeks ago, he never has contacted me. However, he's managed to jump 3 of my deputies in the last 2 weeks, unhappy with our coverage and that we're not down here at the right times. And he's never called me, but he thinks he's going to catch me in the office, which is like pulling teeth because I'm very seldom in the office.
I was informed
So-
that he was heading up your direction, what
Yeah.
day?
I wish he would have called because I was down here on a call.
Wednesday, wasn't
Ken,
it?
That snowed them.
Ken, I gave him the number you
Yeah,
gave me.
yeah.
I gave him that.
You know, and what I'm going to tell him when we run into him is, look, you know, we contract 160 hours a month. You know, whether my guy's sitting down here at 10:30 on a Sunday morning, it doesn't matter. We still got to do X amount of hours during the day shift and X amount of hours at the night shift, and we're not always going to be here when you think we need to be here. And
But
You
the
know.
other, the add in to that is all the calls get answered.
they do, you know. So
Well, I think we pointed out at the last meeting that how much of your fleet is unmarked. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
people
half of them,
They aren't even aware that you're here.
yeah. So
Ken, on the next snow we'll get,
yes,
Next.
good accumulation, you want Bill to call? Or how can we get the,
Process going.
Depending upon the timing. If you know when you're going to come out in the morning, and we can kind of get together, maybe a little,
okay.
say it's coming ahead of that, I'll know it, I'll get up and I'll go out and take care of it.
If it's something, 9 times out of 10, if it's something that comes through the night, we go out around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
That's pretty
I'll keep
much
that
the
in mind.
standard deal. But everything changes. I mean, if you get it earlier or whatever, it could be
Well,
a different.
So let's do that as a rule.
he can still pop out at 5, even whether you're plowing snow or not,
Yep.
and hang some paper on some cars.
Yep.
Okay.
It's gonna happen, so whether you're out or not, we can
You're
start.
not going to
Work-
believe this,
work.
but sometimes the weather people miss it by a few hours or days.
We have Tori Kudebeck is probably in his last week of field training. I'm hoping by this time next week we'll have him out on his own. And at that point, the anticipation of going back to the 160 hours a month, we should be back on track with getting coverage down here. I do appreciate your guys' willingness to work with us in the last year over that. It's greatly appreciated, and I'm hoping we'll be back up and running full bore next week. So
And even during that interim, I think we were running within 20 to 40 hours.
yeah, we were pretty close. We were getting 120, 130 hours a month down here. So that that's pretty close considering we're running short staff. I've been asked to meet with the city of Wall Lake. I'm gonna go down and meet with them next week to give them a contract proposal. I'm not real optimistic that will happen. I think the only way we can do that is to bring another body on board, and I don't think they want that much coverage or to pay that much. Shaler's up in the air. Their new police chief quit last week. He's on his. They just hired him, and he took a job as a deputy in Buena Vista County. I kind of dropped a bug in their ear up there. I don't know where they're sitting at, but if they could come on board, or Wall Lake come on board at 20 hours, and we could do them both for the price of one person and just split the two. But I'm not holding my breath on that either. So
I think Shaler's still of the opinion they want their own department.
yeah.
And I think they do have a candidate.
Well, that-
That's according to what guys are telling me. So.
Oh, that's...
You have vehicles enough to handle another.
No, we don't, but what the Board of Supervisors has agreed to do is they'll absorb the cost of the vehicle and the equipment, and then we can absorb that into our rotation. If somebody would back out or something, then it's there already, so. But,
I see in the report that we've had some problem with some juveniles, starting to cause a little problem. And did you manage to catch them at one point? Is it still going on after you talk to them?
well, here's really the only thing we have them doing is throwing snowballs. And that's it. I mean, allegedly there was maybe a fire maybe set, unfounded. Bill couldn't find it. Keith looked in the hay, couldn't find any evidence of a fire there. We got a report of a fire behind FC down here. We couldn't find it. Bill couldn't find it. Not going to say it wasn't there, but there was no evidence of that. We did tag there's 4 kids, or wasn't there, Bill? Yeah.
Yeah.
3 boys and a young girl throwing snowballs down here on the highway the other night. Apparently they called Keith out last night that those 3 boys were
Just walking around.
you know. Heemers had a window kicked out or broke out of their old shop over here on the corner. Was it these kids? Probably. Are they admitting to it? No. Do we have a witness to it? No. So, you know, we're getting to be on a first name basis with them. So, you know, are they being probably a little mischievous? Yeah. You know, but we really haven't got them on anything.
So at some point they're going to be out after curfew, and then
What are
It'll be
the
that
parents
big
doing
city.
with this situation? Not much.
Yeah, what most parents do, let their kids run around. Not much, you know. We have spoken to all their parents and twice in the last week about their activities or suspected activities. And oh, well, thanks for calling and letting us know. We'll have a little talk with little Tommy. And, you know. But
Start talking with their hand again.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom only had to talk once to my dad.
yeah, there was one conversation on there. That's the problem today, Mike. That's the
When you're
problem.
getting up off the ground.
So,
Yeah, 2 hits involved with that.
yeah.
Hitting me hitting the ground.
But other than that, you know.
Then I got a couple here. 40-volt Betterment Committee, $100 for Bob Hemphill Memorial, and $200 for the swimming pool.
thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. We'll have no
Appreciate
family.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Butch. Before I ask for any unfinished business, there's a couple things. Joan needs an RSVP on our meeting, our January meeting, which is, what date, Joan?
14th.
The 14th. Is anybody can't make it. I'm just going to put it that way. So it sounds like everybody's coming.
Is that the league meeting?
No, that's our annual city meeting.
City annual.
Christmas party.
Ah.
We never have it in December. It always seems to get pushed off into January for some reason. Okay, I think we've covered everything else on the flip side. Oh, this was brought up. A lady walked into the office today and said, quote, "What a terrible odor, moldy, musty smell. Don't you smell it? You girls are going to die from it."
Feeling sick?
Is there anybody that
I can't
detects
smell. Do you
a
notice
musty,
when you come in?
Smells like it always
dangerous?
does. Smells like it always does, like business.
I guess we're all used to
Oh,
it.
smell nothing. I smoked for too many years. I can bring my daughters down and my wife, they can tell you, but
Is there any unfinished business?
I I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
The motion's been made to adjourn by Hemphill, seconded by Bankford. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.